Hey everyone, Zach here with GP Cycleworks, and this video is going to be on how to install our windshields and hardware for the Honda Rebel 1100 SE cowling, which they also use the same cowling on the 500 SE. So we've got another video where we talk about the benefits of a windshield, why you need the windshield, and how our windshield was installed and kind of how we came up with the design. This video is going to be just for the actual installation walkthrough and how to put this all together to get you 1000% increase in wind protection on your Honda Rebel SE. All right, so let's get to it. So the tools we're going to need for this project is going to be a 5mm Allen key. This is going to be for removing the cowling from the bike. So obviously we've already removed this. So we've got 4 5mm bolts that are holding the cowling on. So we're going to get this cowling off, and the next thing we're going to use is some kind of towel, soft cloth, microfiber, pretty much anything soft you've got laying around, old t-shirt, that you're just going to want to put down on the table, because we're going to flip this thing around a lot and just want to preserve everything we've got on there. So then the first actual step is going to be using a 3mm Allen key and removing the bolts that hold in the stock windshield. So we're going to take out the bolts. There's going to be a nylon washer in there and also a little rubber washer. The nylon one you can get rid of. We will reuse the thin little rubber washer, and we'll reuse the bolts. So we'll go ahead and take those apart, set them aside, do the same thing, take apart the left side and have the rubber washer and the bolt. So there's a few components of our hardware. There's going to be the front center bracket. This is actually going to clip on the front of the fairing, pretty much inside that headlight ring, and it's going to sit right about there and then installed onto the windshield. This is actually going to be the last piece we'll install, so I just wanted to demonstrate that. The other components of the hardware are 2 angled brackets, which are going to sit in those same holes for the windshield. So we're utilizing all the hardware that's already on the cowling. We're not drilling any new holes, and there's no permanent modification. So the first thing, we'll take one angle bracket, put the bolt through, and then put the rubber washer on the inside. Take our 3mm Allen key and get this started. So as it tightens up, we'll kind of get it into its final position, and we really want it to be parallel and square with the cowling. So we don't want it to be off like this. When we go to install the windshield, we want everything to be square where it's parallel with this back edge. You've got a little bit of play in it, but that's what your goal is for each bracket. And then you'll tighten it down. And you do not need to over tighten these, because really there's rubber wheel nuts on the back, just pretty much so it's snug. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Put the bolt through. It doesn't matter which side of the angle bracket you use, the holes are going to be the same. So we'll just go ahead and put it through this side. So as I'm tightening, I'm kind of getting the positioning right and making sure that it is square with the back angle, so they're not offset or anything. So that's really the first step. After that, we can take our windshield out of the bag, and we're going to mount the 2 back holes, and then we're going to put on our front bracket. To mount the windshield, we've got 4 1/2-inch nylon bolts. These are going to be 1032 thread, and we also include some nylon nuts for it. The hardest part about this installation is that it's a real tight area to work with. So we've thought about a lot of different ways to do this. It's even a little too tight for a rubber well nut. It's a little too tight for welding some things on here. So you just gotta gently put it on and use some tight fingers to get the nuts on the screws. So we'll pretty much line up one side, put the bolt through. You don't have to tighten it all the way yet. We'll turn it around, slide the windshield down, and put this bolt through. So then comes the delicate procedure of getting the nuts in, which is definitely a little tricky. Sometimes you gotta back the screw out a little bit just to give yourself some room. Okay, once again, we won't tighten anything. We'll just kind of finger tight the nuts on the back side. And this is about where we're at now. So really the windshield's in its final place. It's got a little rubber pad on the front to stop it from hitting the cowling. And then we'll go ahead and put on the final front bracket. So this one just hooks in from the back side. It's got this foam pounding there, and do it just like this and make it so our holes line up with the windshield. At first it's not really going to look like it's going to reach, and that's because we really need it pretty tight. So in order to get the holes to reach, you just have to pull up on the bracket and then push down on the windshield. Drop the holes in, and same thing on this side. So then you just need the nuts on the back side of this one. All right, so now you've got everything in final position. You just want to make sure that this is kind of centered. It's a little hard to tell where it is. Once you've got these back ones mounted, it'll kind of pull it to center. So as long as you line it up with the windshield, you are good to go. And the last step is, once you've got everything finger tight, is to take a flathead screwdriver and give it another 180 degrees. If you can turn it full 360 degrees, go ahead and do that. The nice thing about nylon hardware is that you don't have to worry about over tightening the bolts. So the threads on the nylon will pop and before it cracks any of the acrylics or the cowling, so you don't have to worry about that. So we'll just go ahead and tighten this. You can see this one's snugging up a little sooner than the other. For extra horsepower, we like to make all of our lines straight and parallel. So we straighten up the front end, and then we'll turn these. And now everything is tight. It's all one solid unit. It is normal, and you're supposed to have gaps along the sides. The gap will get kind of narrow in the front, but you will also have a little gap between the actual hardware on the windshield. So that's all expected. The main thing you want is you want it to be pretty sturdy, so everything's kind of moving as one unit. Once you tighten the bolts though, you're kind of locked in, you're good to go. So that was the installation for the Honda Rebel SE windshield. As you can see, we include all the hardware. It's very easy. There's no permanent modifications to your cowling. And also it's one unit. We're not doing an add-on piece that's mounted to the handlebars. This is mounted to the cowling and really finishes it off and adds function and form. As we talked about in the other video, we make these in all different sizes and colors, and we do make them to order. So if there's something unique or custom you want, just give us a call or shoot us an email. We're a small business, so those inquiries will come to me, and I'll help figure out what you need or walk you through any other issues you're having. But as always, thanks for watching and safe riding.